With its seemingly long list of benefits, which includes boosting mood, alleviating pain, promoting healthy sleep and healthy digestion, improving skin conditions, and so many more, it's no wonder people are turning to essential oils to support their health and well-being. The popularity of these wonder-working oils is stirring interest in learning how to extract them for personal use or for business. Welcome to Extraction Essentials, where you'll learn and discover how to create a formula using quality engineered products. Hosted by Tony Frischknecht, this podcast is all about the process of extraction tools and the equipment that surrounds the extraction lab or facility. Create an income while enjoying the many benefits and uses of essential oils by tuning in to Extraction Essentials.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Extraction Essentials. I'm your host, Tony Frischknecht, and today we're going to continue the conversation with David and Gary as they discuss coal fire cartridge and how it works. Also, the next generation cartridge and what you guys have looked forward to out there. Oh, again, if you guys have any questions or you want to check out the podcast, there's several other episodes at extractionessentials.com. You can also contact each one of us there, Tony, Gary, or David, at extractionessentialscorp.com. And now let's get back to the program. You have some displays of some other different cartridges, right? Would you like to walk us through some of those and show us what kind of...
Well, sure. I'll show you the actual heating element that we were able to develop here. If you can see it. So
can you explain it? So I can kind of see it.
It's difficult to see, but what you have is the coil, and you can see the two wires.
Oh, yeah.
The two ends there. And it's embedded into the ceramic. So you can, here I have another one.
So then is it fired into that ceramic there? So it's actually one piece?
Yes. So the coil and the ceramic is actually one piece.
Okay.
So rather than having a ceramic cup with a wick coil wrapped around a wick, all we have is a ceramic cup. So it's pure vaporization. The oil never touches any metal, actually.
So how is it drawn? Is it drawn through the ceramic itself? Or how is a ceramic porous so that it's able to vaporize and pull through? Or can you explain that?
Sure. Here, let me show you our cartridge here. So our cartridge is pretty unique, and you can see how the oil actually draws into these two holes that are on the base of the cartridge reservoir.
Okay, so you've got a metal mouthpiece, and then you've got, is that a plastic or the reservoir that holds the oil? Is that plastic or glass?
This is glass.
And then on the bottom, you've got the atomizer with your ceramic inside, where
Correct.
It's got two flutes next to the post. There's a metal post that runs from the top of the mouthpiece down to the base of the atomizer, and then that has two holes at the base that the oil is drawn into at the base of the that post.
That's correct.
Okay,
that's correct. Yeah, and so there are two of these heating elements aligned with each of those holes. So they
each have their own. They each have their own element.
It's dual heating. Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
As they heat, the oil, its viscosity lowers, and it gets drawn. That capillary action occurs. It gets drawn into this ceramic heating element where it gets vaporized. It's at a hot enough temperature to volatilize all of the oil. It turns into a vapor, where the vapor then travels up this center air flute.
Oh, okay.
And
so that center post is the air flute that you pull, that you draw the vaporizer through. Okay, that makes sense now. I understand. So for you guys that are listening out there, there is a center post that runs through the glass reservoir, and as you inhale, the vaporizer from the elements gets pulled up directly into your mouth. Okay, that makes sense. I see. Go ahead, David. Sorry about that. I wanted to make sure that the
Oh, it's good
listeners out
stuff.
there
It's
understand
good
what we're
stuff.
talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
and another feature that we have in our cartridge is, and we can put up a graphic that I have on in the air flute. We have a little bit that is actually machined via a laser, and it's a small, very small orifice that we've put in that air flute to restrict oil from getting up into that air flute. And a lot of cartridges out there have this issue where that air flute can the oil can recondense in that air flute, and it'll actually pop when you're smoking. It'll get clogged, and you have to really take a hard draw on the cartridge to release that oil, and it'll lead to all kinds of flooding in the tank and complications, and just an unpleasant experience overall. So what we've done is put in this really small carburetor, if you will, that allows only just a little bit of oil to enter into, just the vaporized oil to enter into the air flute and not clog.
okay, so you have it'll let you get the vapor from the oil out, but it'll keep the oil in. So if it's sitting in your pocket upside down in your pocket, there's no way for it to go down the flute into your pocket and leak out. Is that right?
That's correct. And even just over time, as you consume it, every puff will be a very quality, flavorful puff, and you won't have any of that clogging issue.
So let's talk about the taste, because I remember back when I first was trying vaporizers and using them, they were really good for a while. And then maybe the last quarter of the oil that was left in there that I smoked kind of had a funny taste. Do you see, is that still the
Yep.
same thing happening here, or did you guys solve that problem?
Yeah, that definitely goes back to the wick. That was one of the main issues with the wicks. And what we found is, yeah, as the oil got consumed over time, there was always just residuals left in that wick, and not getting out of the wick, not leaching out enough, and it's just getting heated and heated and heated, and it just starts to turn into a really bad kind of burnt flavor towards the end there. And with these cartridges, the way they're designed, and the heating element being without the wick, it's just a real pure flavor every puff, even down to the last drop.
Dealing with China, right? There's so many products we get from them. There's so much unhealthy stuff that is still manufactured out of China. What did you see in the beginning of the cartridges? Were they safe? Were they unsafe? And then what can you tell us about the new ones now that you guys have changed and adjusted to?
Yeah, there was a lot of unsafe things about.
I mean, Gary mentioned, for one, the wick and like strips of jeans, right? So what else did you see there?
Yeah, absolutely. There's, I think we even saw, instead of nickel mesh that I showed you, there's some kind of asbestos material
Oh, geez.
in one of the designs. I don't know if it was that, but that's sure what it looked like. It was not appealing.
Why would they use a product like that in China? Gary, can you share why they use products like that in manufacturing?
Well, at the time, I think what the goal was, right? So the goal was get it fast, get it cheap. And it came from, an e-cig industry that hadn't matured yet. And so there was a lot of discourse that had to happen, a lot of education that had to take place on what was the best practices regarding manufacturing. And boy, I tell you, the guys that we've worked with, once they got on it, they really produced well. They really did. But it's a journey, and we just had to take our time and walk through it. We had the good fortune of coming from an industry that required really high quality standards. The semiconductor industry, gosh. So we were able to take some of those best practices and deploy those with our partners that we chose to work with in China. And those same partners, they're excited because of the trade wars that are ensuing right now. They're excited to work with us to actually license some of their technology that they've developed on their own, license that to us so we can produce the product here in the United States. So the relationship has really evolved and it's become a lot better. Now, it just didn't happen that way overnight. We went through a lot of different manufacturers. We really did. And so we settled on one that's wanted to work with us. They want to do things the right way. A lot of their management is really, really sharp, and they've got some good engineers. And so that's who we've decided to settle on. So your listeners out there are good sources of supply. There really is, but it takes a while to get that figured out. Now, do we just take it for granted when we have it manufactured over there? No, to this day, what we've instituted is a couple of really unique quality control tests that we do here in the United States once we receive the cartridges. One is a puff test. So David and our James Ramsey, one of our designers, they have designed a puff tester, an automatic puff tester, so where we can pre-test these cartridges to make sure that the resistance make sure that they won't leak. Also, there's a resistance tester. One thing that's really important is to make sure that the contact, when it comes down and makes contact to the battery, that resistance is where it needs to be, depending on the viscosity of the oil. So there's
What part of the
program.
cartridge? So you're talking about where the thread is, where
yes,
where the
thread is that
atomizer
David,
goes down?
Yeah.
Okay.
David can hold that up again. You can see that.
So where that connects right there, David, that's where you're talking about the contact. Okay, so you're screwing it right into the base of the battery. Okay,
right, and those are the two contacts.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, and so those have to be precision, right? Otherwise, the oil won't heat properly. And
okay.
So that's another lesson that we learned. So we do the statistical process control with our friends at the point of manufacture. We bring the products here, and then we do a statistical process testing where we actually can make sure that everything conforms to the standards that we want.
It sounds like a lot of quality control you have to go through there.
Yeah, well, when we first saw the first generation, we were so concerned about consumers. We really were, and we had to educate the guys that were making these things that's not healthy, right? So they had a different standard at that time, just a different mentality regarding quality. So it was a journey, like I said, but now we look at it and say, hey, is this something I would want my kid? If he's good, I'd rather them not smoke at all, right? But if they're going to participate and inhale, I want to make sure that they're inhaling the best product, the most healthiest product, not something that's got metal in it, not something that's got cotton fiber, asbestos, for God's sakes, those types of things. So we really took that seriously. And that's one of the things that we're really proud of that's been developed. What's really exciting, Tony, is David's next generation, what he's got cooking.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. I want to ask him here in just a minute. I want to ask you, when people are out there searching, because there's a lot of guys right now that are just starting their own little vaporizer, and they're either doing it in their backyard because they want to make their own vapor, whether it be essential oils, or they're doing THC or CBD. What would you recommend they watch out for as they're looking through all these manufacturers or buying online?
Oh gosh, that's a good question, because as David alluded to earlier, when you buy online, sometimes you're going through a broker. Okay, even Alibaba deals with brokers, so you might be getting that product third hand, right? And so you really don't have the traceability that you want to know what kind of quality standards were behind that cartridge. So it usually turns into a mixed bag. So one lot you'll get, and they work great. You receive 1,000 cartridges, and the guy's filling his cartridges, and he's loving life. The next, he'll order the same darn cartridge. It'll come in, and it's crap. It doesn't perform well. It leaks, or the heating element is slightly off. So what we would recommend is, starting with a reputable company like Essential Extractions, not to, put in our name here, but I am. Essential
Yeah,
Extractions.
we don't, guys. I want Gary to share this with you because we know we have a quality product, right?
Yeah,
And we want to share that with you guys, but we know you can go somewhere else and find them.
exactly. And what we can do is we can help educate. We can help educate. See, all right, this is the quality manual. This is what you want to look for. This is how you test to make sure that you're getting a good product. And
Exactly.
we can help them with that. And we'd be more than glad to do that. They don't have to buy directly from us, but we could be a source of information for them. And we can provide them with samples and things like that. One thing is it's really key to match the type of cartridge based on the viscosity of the oil. I can't overstate that. And so that's one of the things that we'll offer is a way to determine what is the best cartridge for that particular customer.
And you guys have close to 10 years of experience with making those two parts meet. The vapor cartridge with the viscosity is the hardest part, I think.
Oh God, yeah, it is just the funniest thing. That journey. You look back on it, you go, geez, it was one of those. Remember the old commercial? I could have had a V8. What the hell were we thinking? But,
David, hey, so Gary, alluded to it for a second ago. What do we got in the future? What are you working on?
Yeah, it's pretty exciting stuff. So, we have our heating element, of course, that is going to be put into a pod system, if you will, a solid state design that the battery is and the cartridge are one device. And what we have designed is PCB that allows for the heating element to basically ramp to voltage in a linear line following the vaporization temperatures. So as the customer puffs, the harder you draw, the more voltage gets put in.
So it adjusts to the volume of air that's pulled through it.
Correct. So you get
that's really cool.
Bigger, deeper hit. And also what it allows for is it slowly comes to temperature rather than just trying to hit a really high temperature and volatilizing all of the good flavorful things. And what it allows you to do is experience those flavors, as the temperature kind of slowly ramps up, and you just get a really big volume, flavorful hit, but it's also very in control. So the smaller or the less you take a draw on it, the smaller or the less the amount of vapor volume there actually is. So
yeah, and I'm picturing right now because for years we've had these big battery packs that people are doing. They're doing nicotine and they're doing flavors and stuff, and that there's this groups of people that really enjoy the big plumes that come out, right? Almost like the old days of smoking cigarettes and cigars, and they really get into that feeling. And so I imagine that you're going to see a bigger plume from whatever you're smoking off of. It seems like if you're drawing more air through. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, guys, I really look forward to seeing that. We're doing some really cool stuff here, guys. I brought these guys here. These are my business partners, and we worked on this for years, and I've seen a lot of expansion in the industry. And again, like Gary said, we want to share some information from you. We want to give you guys some stuff that we're doing here to produce better products for you or maybe somebody but also just giving that. I haven't heard anybody talk about this, so I'm excited to bring this to you. And I'm thankful for having these guys in my life, because these guys are experts in their field. They've been around the industry for a long time and around electronics. So I want to encourage you to reach out to David, Gary, even me if you need to. So our website, essentialextractionscorp.com. David, what is the best way to reach you directly if people have any questions for you? Can they do it on the website, or or is it best to get in touch with you directly?
Yeah, you can go through our website. That's a good way. You can
Okay,
also
perfect.
reach me at david@essentialextractioncorp.com.
Perfect. And Gary, I assume that it's the same for you, right? I mean,
It
everybody
is.
works differently, but I wanted to ask.
You betcha. That would be really, really preferred for me is Gary, Gary, at essentialextractioncorp.com.
Okay, guys. Well, I know we've got some big shows planned here in the future, so I'm looking forward to bringing those to everyone. And I want to thank you both for spending your time with us today and sharing some of that deep, in-depth knowledge with hardware and extraction. So thank you so much, guys.
Well, Tony, thank you. And we both really appreciate what you're doing here with your podcast.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Tony.
You're welcome. You're welcome, guys. Well, guys, thanks again. This is another episode of Extraction Essentials, and we hope to see you next time and bring you some more great information. See you then.
You have just listened to another informative episode of Extraction Essentials with Tony Frischknecht. We invite you to come back next time as we strive to provide useful knowledge and tools every week to help you on your extraction business. You can also visit extractionessentials.com for additional resources and to know more about working with Tony. See you again next time.